Hi there, Karen Flaherty here from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the Sun in Gate 61, which is all about asking why. It's the gate of the thinker, and it really drives us and pressures us to do a lot with our lives. So let's go. Okay, so this week we got the Sun in Gate 61. We call it the Thinker or Inner Truth, and it started January 10th, late at night, close to midnight, around 11 p.m. And then it goes until January 16th. The Earth is in Gate 62, which is the gate of details, which comes right off the top of the throat. That 61 is right up here, coming off the bottom of the head center. And it's also, you can see while it's in the Sun this week, it's also in Pluto. And Pluto is just finishing up. It's in the line 6, 61 line 6. So this is going to finish up, and then we'll finally be done with this 6124 definition in the head and the ajna. So we start the week again with the 2034 and that 6124, that channel of awareness with the head and the ajna. So these four will stay defined all week, and that's all we've got. So the Sun in Gate 61 is called Inner Truth or Mystery in the original I Ching. We also call it the Thinker because it's all about asking the question why. They say it's the awareness of universal underlying principles. It's really trying to figure those things out, right? It's trying to ask the question why, to figure things out, to find the mysteries really of what's going on around us. You know, why do all these things happen, right? So we'll talk about that more in a second, but in the incarnation crosses this week, we've got the cross of the Maya, which is basically thought of as illusion, because of the mystery, because of the asking the question why all the time and not always getting the answer, right? Truth is another one, and obscuration, which is definitely about obscuring the truth, right? And then the gate 62 is in the earth. That's the gate of details, or the preponderance of the small in the original I Ching, or you can imagine these little tiny details that people get obsessed with, right? And so the 62 is in the earth, and it's called caution, patience, and detail that produce excellence out of limitation. So basically you have these tiny details, and they can create excellence if you're looking at them with a sense of caution, a sense of patience, a sense of detail. It's like any, good analyst, right, who looks at their spreadsheet and is able to pick out the pieces that really make a difference, right? It's that kind of energy. It's that kind of detail that creates that's part of this energy. In the Gene Keys, intellect is the shadow, which is interesting, right? That the intellect is the shadow here. Precision is the gift, and impeccability is the CD. So as we look at the Gene Key 61, we've got the shadow is psychosis, the gift is inspiration, and the CD is sanctity. And so what Richard is saying here is that psychosis is, in fact, the ordinary state of the mass consciousness of humanity in the world today. And so, that would probably, even as he suggests, might put a lot of psychologists and psychotherapists on their heels, but really they would get them a lot more clients, right? There is a lot of psychosis in the world today, and I think that the more we kind of admit it, the more we realize it, the more we take into account how much we are not facing reality, right? We're not, because psychosis is just it is usually described as not facing reality, right? And so if we take it from that point of view, there's a lot of stuff that we're not facing reality about. I can think of a number of things. You can probably think of a number of things, but there's probably this sense of illusion that we're allowing in our lives that's not allowing us to see the facts of what really is, what really could be, or what the possibilities are even in our lives. He also says the dilemma is that you cannot fix the psychosis from within the psychosis. So unfortunately, when we're stuck in this psychosis, when we're stuck in this shadow, right, the dark side of the shadow, we're not dealing with reality. We're not dealing with our own psychosis, and it's really not the place that we can deal with the psychosis from. So we have to get out of it to be able to deal with it. And he says that the creativity is the single most important gift for drawing humanity out of its mass psychosis. So that's kind of the definition there. What is psychosis? What's the dilemma? And then what's the solution, right? So he's saying creativity is the solution, and creativity basically pulls us out of asking why, right? Creativity, more of one side of the brain than the other. And so if we can get ourselves out of the victim mode, out of the asking why, because a lot of the time it's not so much why am I doing something? It's why are other people doing things, right? It's why is this happening to me? Why is all this going on? And not really coming up with too many answers. And so his suggestion is to come up with some way of being creative, and that will take us out of the victimization, why questioning, and move us toward a much more grounded, realistically based, pragmatic way of dealing with the answers, and not feeling the pressure, because that's what this head center gate is all about. It's about pressure. The pressure of the head is similar to the pressure that's in the root, which is at the bottom, and the pressure of the head is at the top. It's a pressure. It's a pressure that does, by dint of what it is, it allows us to evolve, but it feels like pressure all the time. And so it's letting go of the pressure and allowing ourselves just to be in the creativity, to be in something that we get joy out of, to be in something such as music, where he talks about, as he talks about in the graphic here, music allows the mind to find its natural geometry, its harmonic basis within the world. And so it allows us to settle. It allows us to settle into a calmness and a joy and a sense of being that allows us to find the answers to the things that we thought we wanted to have, but in a much more calm way. We've got a number of people born this week in the Sun Gate 61. As I said, it's the crosses of Maya, truth, which is all about thinking, and obscuration, which is about concealing. There's a lot of personalities that many of us know of. People like Dr. Martin Luther King, of course, it's his birthday on the 15th. We tend to celebrate it on different Mondays, but his birthday is actually on January 15th. Alexander Hamilton, who was actually also born on January 15th, I'm pretty sure. And then on January 12th, both Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh were born. So I thought that was interesting because, a lot of people think of them as shock jocks or people who are really into questioning, right? And asking and doing interviews and questioning people and talking a lot. But they're always asking the question, why, right? And so it's makes a lot of sense in a way that they would be in the category of the thinker or have this energy, right? So dominant in their personalities. And then this week in history, January 11th into the 12th in 2010, there's a massive earthquake that hit Haiti and killed over 300,000 people. In 1957, on January 13th, the Wham-O company created the Frisbee for the first time. On January 14th in 1981, the Iran and US hostage crisis ended. On paper, it ended. And then on January 20th, all the 52 American hostages were released. They'd been held for 444 days. On January 15th in 1920, the dry law goes into effect in the United States, where selling liquor and beer became illegal. And that was in effect until 1932. So it was quite a long time. And just reflecting, that was right after their pandemic ended, right? The Spanish flu pandemic ended. It lasted from 1918 to 1920. And so the Roaring Twenties started out with no liquor. No drinks to be had, except in the speakeasies. On January 15th also, and in fact on the same day in 1973, 4 of the 6 remaining Watergate defendants pleaded guilty. And on the same day, in the run-up to the end of the Vietnam War, Nixon announced the suspension of offensive action by US troops in Vietnam. So I thought that was an interesting balancing act, if you will. Some people are pleading guilty. to Watergate and other people. And then Nixon is announcing that he's ending the offensive actions. So it just seemed to me to be a curious thing that in terms of PR, one kind of outweighs the other. It's a balancing act, and yet it's a little bit of a shiny object syndrome, right? Also on January 15th in 2001, Wikipedia appeared for the first time online. And on January 16th in 1991, the Persian Gulf War started, which was called Operation Desert Storm. And it ended about 6 weeks later when President Bush declared a ceasefire. So this week, you're going to be thinking a lot. You're probably going to be thinking a lot. A lot of people are going to be thinking a lot. And it's up to you, of course, how those thoughts go. But I just invite you to think of them not so much as pressure, but as possibilities, right? Ways of thinking differently, perhaps, ways of thinking, asking different why questions than you might have in the past, and really getting, trying to get a handle on what your life is about, what you want to do this year, how you want to be perceived, what's really up for you. Why are you doing this? What's your why, right? What's your why for doing what you do? There are a lot of people resigning lately. There are a lot of people getting out of jobs that they no longer care for. And some are leaving without having something else to go to. Many are leaving and going to something that's much better, much more better suited to them, much more flexible for them. Some are going for more money, but many aren't. Many are just going for jobs that are much more in line with their own values. And so what's your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Maybe it's a good time to look into something new. Maybe it's a good time to find something that really floats your boat, right? That's joyful as opposed to, just a have to kind of job. Maybe you want to do something that's more of a career. Maybe it's more entrepreneurial. Maybe it's time to start something new on the side that you can do while you're working home remotely. You can also start something on the side that would really light your fire. And so take a look. It's a good week to ask the questions of both of yourself and perhaps of others. So have a wonderful week. Have a good time thinking about it. And I'll see you next time. Take care.